Good afternoon, and welcome to the first of our academic literacy sessions, class sessions. My name is Fatima Slimming. I'm your lecturer for the Academic Literacy 151 module, and I hope that we'll be working well together this semester. If you have any questions or ideas that you would like to share with us, you're welcome to make contact with me or to use these sessions and also the message board, the discussion forum on the learning management system to share your ideas and your thoughts with us. The aim for this lecture is very simple because we haven't met with one another before. We're only going to be talking very generally about what this module is about and also explore a little bit what the term academic literacy means. So just to start off, I would like to say that the aim of this module is to help prepare you as a university student in terms of your communication skills. So the idea is that we will work through a range of resources and material that speak to academic reading, academic writing, ways in which one communicates through speech in an academic environment, and not only for the purposes of marks for the course, but also, or in our studies, but also generally just to start to develop the appropriate ways of speaking and conducting yourself as a university scholar. One of the things that we will be spending quite a bit of time on is on the conventions of academic writing. What is it that students tend to have difficulty with when they need to write essays or summaries or reports in an academic setting, and when they need to communicate with an academic audience or readership. So the idea is that we will work through a whole range of those types of texts and materials, not only to broaden your knowledge of academic communication, but also to share your own views about what it means to communicate in an academic sense with people who are expected to reciprocate that communication with you in that environment. One of the key things I can tell you right from the start that people generally tend to have a bit of difficulty with is, why is it necessary for us to reference our sources of information when we write academic essays and so forth? And the idea is that we will talk about the conventions of referencing. What does it mean when we say someone has plagiarized information or ideas, and how can you avoid that? But we will get to that a little later on. But this is just so that you can have a bit of a sense of what it is that we're hoping to cover in this module. Of course, developing academic literacy is also about more than just learning how to communicate, but also developing the necessary practices and behaviors that can help you to succeed at university level, which, because they have an effect on the way in which you manage your workload, manage your time and your effort, and so forth. You need to be organized as a student at your university. And so we will briefly touch on time management strategies, and you will also be expected to come up with a plan for managing your time while you are a student at Two Oceans Graduate Institute. These are all very fun activities, but they're also very useful, and they help to orientate your mind to how you need to approach your studies. As far as I know, quite a number of people are also working while they are studying, and so it's important that we recognize the ability to balance the workload of academic study with the workload of a working life as well as family commitments. So hopefully we'll be able to get through those activities, which will essentially be able to set you up to conduct yourself suitably in a manner that helps you to feel like you are building your self-confidence as a student, as well as your abilities to cope. Briefly, I would like to talk to you about the module guide and the essential information that you would need to consult on a regular basis to help you stay abreast of what the expectations are and what you need to keep in mind and be aware of as you work your way through the content of this module. So let's turn to that briefly. Just call it up quickly. So what you need to do is let's see if I can share my screen in order for us to work through this a little better. Right. What I want you to call up for you is the module guide. We discussed that briefly. And the first thing that you need to be aware of that this is a semester module. The module it forms part of the Bachelor's in Education programs. So all first-year students at the Two Oceans Graduate Institute are expected to complete this module as part of the first year of courses. And the module is supposed to support and complement the work that you are doing in your other courses, and to help you to cope also with the demands of the other courses, because although the skills that you're exposed to are more of a general kind and not specifically focused on a particular subject area, they definitely are designed to help you to think through the various challenges and types of tasks that you will also encounter in your other courses or other modules. And so it becomes almost like a stepping stone for that. Let me just take you through the important issues here. Firstly, as with all the other modules that you are doing, this is something that you will also be doing on an online basis. So you will come to the course page on the learning management system, and you'll log on there and work systematically through different units of information that pertain to academic literacy. So the purpose statement for this module is that it aims to equip students with knowledge and skills regarding the acquisition, processing, and presentation of information in an academic environment. At the end of this semester, you should be able to display a sound knowledge of the pedagogies underpinning academic literacy, and you should be able to demonstrate understanding and application of writing and referencing styles. You'll see that the module is made up of a number of different units, which I will very briefly take you through because that's important. But general guidelines surrounding the units and how to work through them is that there are 5 units in this module. For each unit, you will work through the content of that particular unit for between 2 to 4 weeks at a time. You need to set aside about 5 hours per week on academic literacies. So it's useful to plan each week accordingly so that you accommodate an hour per day or something to that effect in order to arrive at your 5 hours per week for academic literacies work. And then the last week of the module is spent on grading the final assessments and the end of module activities. But grading and so forth happens in the module throughout the semester as well. Some of the activities are formative assessment activities, and there are two summative assessment activities. Now, let's just generally go through that for those who are not familiar with the terminology. The formative assessment activities are designed merely to test your knowledge, your understanding, your ability to retain information, to recognize, and so forth, to make sense of something. And it is not going to be given a mark that is heavily weighted. The idea is that you develop your abilities and your skills through doing those formative tasks. And for that reason, there are 8 formative assessment activities in this module throughout the semester. Then there are two summative assessment activities, and they are designed for you to demonstrate your learning at two crucial points in the module, so that we are able to assess whether you are progressively developing your understanding, your skills, and your abilities to apply that knowledge and ability of what academic literacy requires you to know and be able to show. So just keep that in mind. The summative assessment activities are generally also longer and a little bit more complex in design, and you'd be expected to do some research and to display academic communication abilities to the full extent as is expected of a student at Two Oceans Graduate Institute. So, what are the units like? Firstly, the first unit takes you through the teaching and learning approach at the Two Oceans Graduate Institute. For those of you who have been through the orientation program, you will have been exposed to a little bit of that. But the idea is that you would work through the content of this particular unit, and the first assessments for Unit 1, the first assessment for Unit 1 is due on the 10th of March. There will be two assessment activities that are due fairly soon in this month, but that is just by way of introducing the module to you. And so it tests just general knowledge of academic expectations and how academic literacy is structured at the university. Right. Then for Unit 2, takes place in the weeks from 11 March to 24 March. There is also one task that is due towards the end of March. There, the focus will be on academic reading and writing, which also includes a focus on referencing. So you will be looking at developing knowledge and understanding of referencing expectations in the higher education space. Also being asked to become aware of how Turnitin works and to be able to use that. And you have to use Turnitin checking before you submit any assignment, not only to the academic literacy course, but also to others at TOGI. The third unit focuses on accessing and selecting relevant academic texts. It will take place in March and in April, the first 2 weeks of April, which follows the academic break that is taking place at the end of March. Here you will be asked to identify and access pertinent academic texts. You'll be asked to illustrate your ability to use the e-libraries portal to access academic texts and to identify what makes a text academically sound. The task is a written task that is going to be completed there. And the idea is that you will have to complete that written task and follow that up with a quiz on literature searches. So those are the two tasks that are due for Unit 3, which takes us up to the middle of April. And after that, we will start looking at uh, a study plan and study methods in Unit 4, because it is going to assist you to orientate your mind to the upcoming summative activities that will have to be completed later on in the semester. So here the focus will be on personal development and organization through demonstrating your ability to create and evaluate a study plan and to explain possible study methods and self-care opportunities that you can bring about in your daily program to help you cope with the more stressful period of studying for examinations and so forth. For this particular unit, your Unit 4, there is also a task which is made up of mixed questions based on the content, and that task is due towards the end of April. Then Unit 5 deals with 21st century competencies. Here we're asking you to start thinking yourself into the shoes of a novice teacher who needs to be able to teach using the most current methods available, but also understands what it means to teach in a 21st century environment. So that is what we will be looking at. What are 21st century competencies? Why are they important? And you would need to demonstrate your understanding of what that means in a reflective essay. And we will talk about what a reflective essay is and how it differs from other types of writing. For this particular unit, there are 3 tasks. Task 8 is a mixed questions task based on an article. Task 9 is a quiz on the impact of 21st century competencies, and it will also be based on articles and a web page that you will be able to consult as part of preparation for that task. And then the last task is the summative task, which essentially will be the final task for the semester, which is a reflective essay on your academic growth and learning. And here you would need to connect your transformation as a student teacher to the skills of a 21st century student, and that we will be expecting you to display some insight into how your journey over the next few months will have contributed to you having developed as a 21st century student and a student teacher. Right, so that's just in terms of content of the module. On the next page of the module guide, you will find some references there to help you with finding information that can assist you with this module. And you'll notice that there is a prescribed book that you can buy, you can purchase to aid you in your studies, or you can access it online or in some way to assist you with learning about this particular aspect of university work, university study. Right, so that's it. For now, I don't want to go into too much detail. I have loaded all this information on the learning management system for you to keep in mind and to keep a record of. and to consult on a regular basis. If you have any particular questions about this course that you would like to share with me, you're welcome to contact me. I've provided my contact details. And so, yeah, that is all I wanted to say about this now. And then I will see you at the next lecture in a few weeks' time. So good luck, and I will be making available a copy of this recording for you to be able to access in your own time. Goodbye.